right, now it's 6. Look, Tyler's right on it. Let's just. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. Would you all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Adjustments to the agenda.
We do have one for this evening to add under I-4 for hiring.
Someone want?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the adjustment to the agenda by adding the following items: hiring to I-4 and renumber the remaining items. I can't talk today.
Any discussion? All in favor? All right. Approval of minutes.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes of the August 12th, 2025 school board meeting as presented. Neither can I, Kelly.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Communications and correspondence.
I do have 3 resignations and 1 retirement letter to share with you. For resignations, we have Jay White, Ed Tech at Ellsworth Elementary Middle School, Rebecca Welsh, Ed Tech at Ellsworth Elementary Middle School, Jill Healy, grade 7 reading at Ellsworth Elementary Middle School, and Brian Smith has announced his retirement at the end of this school year, math teacher at Ellsworth High School.
He's going to be missed.
He is going to be very, very missed.
Thank you.
So we will celebrate him at the end of the year.
How long has he taught here?
Oh, I have to look that up.
Yeah. Where's Mr. Clifford? You might know.
Advertising tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah,
But do you know how long he was there for?
well, he's there longer than Mr. Clifford, so,
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
we'll look it up.
yeah, we'll look it up. Administrative reports.
Yeah, the year I came.
Good evening, Nikki Chan, Assistant Superintendent. I would like to just say how proud I am of how the school year started off. We're up and running. It feels like it's already been 3 or 4 weeks when it really hasn't been. Everybody's been extremely busy, but it has been an excellent and positive start from, all angles of the district. I'd like to highlight a little bit of our opening professional learning. This year, I do want to thank you that we were able to have 3 professional learning days put at the front of our school calendar. By all accounts, we have had such positive feedback on having that 3rd day. Normally, we only have 2, and generally it's a district professional learning day and then a school-based professional learning day. And simply that isn't enough time. One might argue that 3 days actually isn't enough time. But educators, ed techs, everybody, even admin, we have all really kind of circled the wagons and realized how important that extra day of time was. Everybody had beneficial professional learning sessions, but it also allowed us to give extra time for teachers to do some things in their rooms and get prepared. So that's obviously invaluable. The district professional learning days were wonderful. I want to thank, you all for serving breakfast on Monday. As normal, that's our normal tradition. We were able to have a short collection of our district and then a keynote speaker, followed by going back to the schools, 2 days in the schools, and then we kind of flipped things around and had our district day 3rd. We had great feedback on that, and I do want to highlight the fact that we were able to have 2 significant outside speakers. I just want to quickly read their bios because we are extremely proud of the work that we did to get these 2 professional speakers to our district. The first is Dr. Lynn Lyons. She gave us our keynote on Monday for all of our staff. Dr. Lynn Lyons is an internationally recognized psychotherapist, author, and speaker who specializes in the treatment of anxiety and depression in children and families. With over 30 years of clinical experience, she is known for her practical, skills-based approach that emphasizes building strategies to manage worry, improve communication, and strengthen resilience. Dr. Lyons has authored multiple books, including resources for parents and educators, and is widely sought after her engaging presentations that blend research, humor, and hands-on techniques. So we had a great keynote with her that provided staff a lot of support and ideas on how to kick the school year off well, and continued support for anxiety in general, which, as you know, is a huge thing that we are working with students of all ages on in the mental health realm. Wednesday, we were lucky enough to have Dr. Ross Green. Dr. Ross Green, we had him in person. He's a clinical psychologist, author, and the originator of the Collaborative and Proactive Solutions model. They call that CPS. He's a widely adopted evidence-based approach. He has a widely adopted evidence-based approach for supporting children with behavioral and emotional challenges. He is the author of several influential books, including The Explosive Child and Lost at School. His work has been implemented in schools, mental health centers, and juvenile justice programs around the world. Dr. Green is recognized for reframing how adults understand and respond to challenging student behavior, emphasizing collaboration, problem solving, and building strong relationships. So again, we actually had him all day. He started off with the entire district, and then he did small breakouts with several staff. The feedback on those sessions was all fives across the board. You know, we want more. We wish everybody could have had him all day. And so I just wanted to highlight these two speakers. One, to just highlight the fact that we are bringing very high quality professional learning to our educators. Super proud of that. I'll note that opportunity was provided to us by Title II dollars. So again, we're really trying to make sure that we're using our grant monies wisely in order to support our staff with the highest quality professional learning as possible. And as you can see, we really have had a deepened focus on the social and emotional realm, because we have, as you know, in the last couple of years really started to work on strengthening academics and creating a stronger core for that. But this is a very important layer as well, because if students are not well mentally or socially, or are struggling, then they're not going to be able to learn the best that they can. So very proud to be able to do that work. I'll note that work is also not just one and done. With both of these colleagues, we have asked them to kind of come back and do continued professional learning, and I think all staff are excited about that, so that we can continue to gain expertise from their knowledge. The other thing I wanted to just highlight in my report was the expansion of our pre-K program. As you know, we've talked about this quite a bit, but we did have the opening of 2 more pre-K classrooms, so now we have 4 classrooms across the district, 2 at the Moore Center. And they started off with a bang. It was a wonderful opening. I want to just say a public thank you to our teachers and ed techs, our 2 teachers, Adia Colum and Dimla Calandro. I'll also shout out Mr. Elvello, Mr. A, and Mrs. Clifford. They have been working really hard to have a presence there and make sure things are running smoothly. That is not that easy, to get a program up and running that's off-site. And so I just want to celebrate the work that's been done for all of our students at the Moore Center. And also with that, just say thank you to the Moore Center staff and the Y staff. We've done a lot of collaboration in the last couple weeks to just make sure that we can continue to iron out some kinks that we've had, but everybody's been really great and participating collaboratively with one another. So super excited to have essentially universal pre-K in Ellsworth. Every student who wants access to a public and free pre-K education has that ability, and that's wonderful for our school district. The other thing I'll just note about that is on the first day of school, of course, we were running around to all schools and visiting classrooms and programs. And I walked in on a kindergarten class leaving Mr. Norwood's PE class. So they were all lined up and they had just finished their class. And he had a quick conversation with me to tell me how night and day it was. Day one, these kindergartners, they were ready. They knew what to do. You know, they just were light years ahead of what the normal kindergarten class is on the first day of school, heading to PE and not knowing what to do and not knowing, you know, how to behave. And so pre-K really does matter. It's a foundational step for all kids, and I'm very proud to have that operating in our district. And then the final thing I have in my report is just a super heartfelt thank you to all of our support teams. So our food service staff, our custodial team, our administrative assistants, and the IT department who have worked and worked and worked all of August and into the start of school to make sure that everything is ticking, everything is working, communications are out there. A lot of these people are actually brand new. You wouldn't know that, and so I appreciate all of their work. I think that's it.
All right, any questions? Comments?
Thank
Thank
you,
you very
guys.
much. Amy, before we get yours, can I just ask Jamie to turn the dial on that over there to the left of the thermostat? Turn it clockwise to 2. Yeah, that'll get some
Some air.
airflow in here, which I think we're all starting to feel the need for it.
I thought you were going to pause and say, I think we should all sing.
No. She's
That's
so
not a
funny.
bad idea.
Well, maybe we
She's very
should.
funny.
Yes, it is Amy's birthday this evening, and we're grateful that she's spending it with us, so happy birthday.
Thanks, Paul.
She's also grateful she's spending it.
I am so happy,
Can't we
and so
tell?
are my husband and children.
I've spent some birthdays here.
I know, we all have.
Anyone who's got a birthday within the first 2 weeks of the month, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah,
It's a great group.
yeah.
All right,
All
so
right, you
I also want to concur and agree with everything Nikki said about the opening of school. It was an extremely smooth opening this year, and I think that is because of the time and effort that admin put in over the summer to really make sure protocols, procedures were firmed up and in place to get us off and running, and then all of our support teams making sure that we were ready to roll when staff came. And I would agree, everyone that I've spoken to anecdotally, the third day, we were all like, how have we ever done it with only 2? And, you know, some schools have moved to 5 days, because when you really are trying to dive in and make sure protocols and everything are tight and everything is ready, it does take some time, and otherwise you feel like a hamster on a wheel. So the third day definitely was appreciated by our staff. The updates that I am going to provide this evening are pretty complex. The first is about Hancock County Technical Center. As I reported at our last meeting, the priority list came out for the construction project list. This is, as of right now, a priority list. It is not a project list, because at this time, we do not know how much funding is going to be allocated for a project list, nor do we know if there are going to be new parameters around the funding, which is being talked about quite a bit. It typically is, if you get on the list and they say they're going to fund X number of projects, 100% of your project is covered, unless you decide to do additional items above and beyond. That may not be the case. We're hearing that there may be some different things that they're going to put in place. So we still are very much in a wait and see in terms of the priority list. In addition to that, the last time I reported out, I discussed that I had the opportunity to go to Augusta and meet with the construction scoring committee, who did our scoring and asked questions and talk through our rubric with them, which I did do. After that, you had the opportunity to file an appeal, and it had to be done by a certain deadline, and you had to only talk about points that we felt like we should have earned and were not given based on my meeting with them. I did work with Tyler Barner from Oak Point, who has done all of our feasibility studies for the building. We did craft an appeal and submitted it, thanks to David driving it down. And then a little surprise layer was added of, oh, now you're going to meet with a commissioner-appointed committee to argue your case about the appeal you filed. So we scrambled and got ready to do that. And Bill, myself, and Tyler from Oak Point attended a meeting with the commissioner-appointed committee this past week. And now we wait, and they have 60 days to decide if they're going to grant us any additional points or not. Seems pretty unlikely based on how it went and what happened and how it was run. I think Bill would agree. But we felt like we argued certain points, specifically making the arguments about career and technical centers, feeling like it was a little mismatch with the rubric, and certain areas we felt like we should have had more points. I will say, and I want the board to know, that based on my meeting with the scoring committee, I do feel like we were held harmless in the areas where we have made improvements to our building. In every category that I pushed back on, we went up in our point allocation, even though we've made the fixes or made the improvements. And they had that evidenced, were able to show it to me in black and white. And in fact, they really highly complimented us and said that it was good faith and that we were doing exactly what we were supposed to do, which is showing and proving that we were trying to, over time, be responsible about making upgrades to our building. So I do believe that we were not penalized for making improvements to our building. So I do feel better and good about that after having that meeting. I will say that now we wait. I don't know how many other people appealed their score, but it is 60 days from the date of the appeal session. So depending on how many more they had after me, the priority list could shift, because all of the appeals have to be done, all decisions made, then they will move the priority list from draft to final. Excuse me. Then after that, we'll start hearing things maybe winterish about how much money, what is going to be allocated, and how many projects are actually going to get funded, and what are the parameters around that funding. So we still have a ways to go. Simultaneously, Bill and I attended the state's office hours yesterday about another pot of money that is for the integrated construction proposal project. And we were very quickly told that unless we are closing a high school somewhere and collapsing 2 high schools, we are not going to be eligible for the funding. And so for us to spend the time putting together the complex project and proposal that is due by October 31st, we are welcome to do that, and I will if that's what you would like me to do. But they were very clear that we will be, because the law and the rules around this money is very clear that you are consolidating 2 high schools into one and adding a CTE and a post-secondary and businesses. So even though I said and pushed back saying we serve all students across the county, there are towns that have choice, there is no high school that is close geographically to us for us to consolidate with, and you just built a new Sumner High School, like they're not gonna close, the answer was still, I can't change the rules. So that was kind of disheartening. Bill and I grumbled and
Yep.
got off the call.
How often does that application come up?
That has been open for a while, and actually one school applied and would have received funding, but when it came time for the communities to vote to move forward, it did not pass. And so the funding has sat.
Wow.
So I suspect, unless another project rises up and actually follows through, that they're going to revisit that piece of funding. So I would say, as board members, any chance you get to talk to legislators or send emails or call and talk about this,
Yeah, especially when there's so
That
many
has
places
been-
that need funding.
yes.
That
And I think the construction committee feels badly. I don't feel like it's, I think they feel like we do, like the pushes around CTE. There has to be a better way to do this in general. I believe everyone believes that, but until lawmakers change those rules, we are left with the way it is right now. So at this time, we are in a wait-and-see game about whether or not we gain any points in the appeal process.
Can I ask a curiosity question? about the priority list. So when they come out and they say how much funding is going to be allocated, what happens to that priority list? Is everybody who was like, say they say we're going to fund the first 3, does that mean that 4 through whatever then have to apply again, or do they stay on the list and then new people get
We
added?
stay on the list until another ranking cycle occurs. And so if there is construction money 2 years from now, they'll go to the next people on the list. So
Okay.
4 through whatever.
Okay, thank you.
Sit and wait, yes.
Actually, last night when I sat in on the MSB regionals, most of them were Portland area, and then myself, just due to timing. That actually was a big conversation. I forgot my other notebook that I had that in, but I think it's Robbie Friedman,
Yes,
perhaps,
he's the-
was very much pushing that everybody reads the legislature, you know, the work that's put out, like comment, like go to it, like highly, like.
It does work.
Asking us to do that.
And he has been a fantastic addition
He
to
was
the
great
Maine
last night.
Superintendent's Association.
Yes.
The stuff he puts out,
Yep.
he is on top of stuff, and he will give you links. Like, he's fantastic.
Yeah, he was last night
Yeah.
also, but he was really talking mostly about the construction, but like really saying people need to get out there, speak up, like
Yeah.
the money's there and they're just trying to figure out what to do with it and how to move it around and
Yeah.
also get your hand in the bucket.
So I haven't lost all hope yet. It is frustrating, but I do think there's some maneuvering and some lobbying and politicking that we need to do moving forward to do our due diligence. I also can't believe it, but, you know, it's time to talk about FY27 budget. We have, and I've put in my report for you, a draft timeline for our work with the city. The biggest thing that I want people to know is that our board meeting in April is being moved up a week so that we can meet the timelines to print the ballots for the June referendum. So our board meeting, typically the second Tuesday of the month, April 14th, is being moved to April 7th. And then our budget will be voted on that night by school board and then voted on by city council on Thursday night, the 9th. So we will send this out to everybody again, but right now, it looks like our initial budget workshop with city council will be March 12th. And then we'll kind of follow our typical timeline for the FY27 budget. I have been happily meeting with Charlie quite a bit over the last couple of weeks. We've been collaborating on a variety of things. One of the biggest things that I am happy to report out tonight with the city is our collaboration on the track. So Charlie and I have been meeting quite frequently. Mr. Frost, Amy Atherton, we've all kind of met with the city throughout. We are moving forward on fixing our track. The plan would be that we will go to city council to approve a ban. Hopefully the October meeting is what we look for. And in the meantime, we have been given permission to go out to RFP to get bids for the work at the track. The city will take the financing of the track, and the plan would be to do a third school budget, a third city budget, and a third fundraising, and trying to do some local community stuff for fundraising. This, of course, is good timing where our EMC project, we are updating our lights at the track, which we did not have control over. I know there are some people that are upset about the timing of the replacement of the poles and the lights at the track. Not in our control. As everyone knows, anything that's being manufactured, anything like a light pole and lights, one, we are at the mercy of shipping and the manufacturing, and it takes a long time. And those poles are not safe. And we have the reports that show that, and the lights need to be changed out, and the poles have to be changed out to change the lights. So it is a safety issue, and we're trying to get them done as quickly as possible. Josh has done the best he can to collaborate with EMC to impact our schedule as little as possible. But there's not a lot the school department can do about that. We need to get those lights fixed and be safe. We are collaborating again with the game warden service for the ospreys and the nest and fishery and wildlife. Everybody's all on the same page. We are taking care of the nest and the birds. So that, hopefully, the lights will be done. If the city council approves the ban, which I have no reason to believe they won't, in October, we will hopefully get on schedule to have that fixed this spring/summer so that it's up and running for the fall. And what Charlie and I have looked at is about 1.2 million, and that will do the track, that will do the soccer field and any wear and tear that we do. It'll strip the track down and rebuild. We're hoping that we can make the bleachers handicap accessible coming up the hill, which would be
That'd be
another
awesome.
great improvement and complaint that we get a lot. So Charlie was in agreement that if we're going to make that facility and invest, let's do it right and let's get it done. So happy that we're getting some movement on that.
And that happening in the spring won't impact the fact that we will have just done the lights and the poles in the fall.
Correct, no, that, though it's gonna be, the entire project will be done.
Okay.
Which will be awesome.
So it won't make a difference that we have to do it at 2 separate times?
No, no.
Thank you.
No. Hiring update, as you heard tonight, I can't believe we're like almost fully staffed. Like, that has not happened in all the time I've been here. Ed Tech's fully staffed, custodians, everything's fully staffed. The only position after this evening that we are still working to fill and come up with a solution for is grade 7 reading. But other than that, knock on wood, we are in really good shape hiring wise, which is exciting. But I want to credit my admin team for that because they were on it and things didn't sit and wait. They did their due diligence, did reference checks, and we moved to jump on hires. I will say, it's not like it used to be. You know, people are competing for candidates, and so kudos to my team for hiring people and being on top of that, which is a great thing. So that's all I have.
Awesome.
Questions or comments?
Thanks, Amy.
Okay, thank you.
Amy?
Committee reports.
I'll start. Curriculum, we met and discussed the EMS schedule. That was that one. And then, again, policy met, but we have first read coming off that list. So, that's about it.
And there was no vote or anything on the
Yes, no.
middle school and elementary school schedule. It was really just an introduction with some tweaks that they had done
Yep.
over the summer and
Yes.
before school started.
Facilities and transportation. Transportation, like both the Toyota Sienna vans have been purchased and received. Glad about that. 2 buses from Cressy that we voted on are here. We're just waiting for brackets for fuel tanks, so they should be done by the end of September. Cameras have been installed, and we're providing training for that. The bus right route plan has been tested, and we've asked parents for any and all input, you know, for addresses and names and all that. So please, when asked, like, fill that out, because that's really important, so we can get that going. All new radios are in the buses and vans, and in the schools. The roof at the high school and the skylight have been completed. All the windows are completed. Lobby bathrooms at the high school are going to get started. Yay! That's my pet project. So glad about that. Theater lighting, still updating, getting prices and whatnot. Track lighting, as we just talked about. Birds, talked about.
Which apparently it's the USDA that has to
USDA,
like.
yep, US Fisheries, Game Wardens, all that
Determine.
business for migrating birds. Then the automation systems for all the buildings is getting, it's about 75% completed, so that's exciting for everybody to be on the same track together. And then fire drills went well, I heard. That's good. Yeah, elevator at HCTC is completed. They're just waiting for the like prettiness, the skins on the elevator to be put in so that it just looks more updated. But the actual work is done.
And the sprinkler system, they're still
Sprinkler
working on.
system.
It's in
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Sprinkler
there's-
system is still in the draft and design phase, but because of our older buildings, but is being
more
worked
about,
on.
more about water supply than anything else.
Yeah,
Wow, lots of stuff.
all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know what Bus Ride is, it's essentially, it's an app that allows parents to be able to track where their student's bus is. It allows bus drivers to have access to routes, and it helps plan routes to make them the easiest. If a bus breaks down, you can pull really quickly the one that's the closest by that would make the most logical sense to come pick up the bus. It sends out messages. And if your student rides on bus 17, you'll be the only parents to get the text message about bus 17, which is really exciting.
We love bus 17. What's that?
Yeah. Finance met, but Amy talked about our schedule for the budget. And personnel is meeting on Friday morning at 8 a.m.
Awesome.
Sorry.
Right. Public participation. Anybody want to come to the podium and give us a piece of your mind? All right. New business. We have two items under new business, special recognition and special recognition.
Presentation.
I'm sorry, special recognition and special presentation.
So special recognition, we're going to start with our first high five awards of the school year. Are you doing it tonight, Mr. Marcosian?
Yes.
Look at the pile.
I'm going to do it.
Okay. All right, so our first, if she wants to please come up, is Jane White. Jade spent countless hours organizing our 7th grade C camp, and it was a resounding success. Not only was it a logistical nightmare, but it required many forms of communication to ensure student safety. As sports schedules changed and family plans were made, Jane had to navigate these changes and did so with grace. This would not happen without her, and it was an amazing experience for our students, both academically and socially. We are so appreciative of all her work behind the scenes, putting this trip together to ensure all students had access to a wonderful trip that for many was their first overnight adventure. Congratulations and thank you, Jane. Next is a duo, Vanessa Richards and Emily Nash. I am pleased to nominate the Ellsworth Adult and Community Education Teaching Team of Vanessa and Emily for this award as they exemplify the highest standards across all criteria. The team has a remarkable ability to inspire students, encouraging them to exceed their perceived limits. Each student's individual journey is celebrated. They communicate openly and honestly with students and colleagues, demonstrating accountability and flexibility. They treat individuals with dignity and appreciation, ensuring that students feel valued, celebrating their unique contributions. In summary, the Ellsworth Adult and Community Education teachers are an exemplary candidates for this award, embodying our district's values and mission through their dedication and impactful work.
It's a Paul
Oh,
sandwich.
yes.
I like to try it.
And I love their whole team is here.
Yes.
It's hard to get us all together.
Next is Clyde Cushing. Clyde is one of those educators who never stops asking, "How can I help?" From his early days as an ed tech in the behavior room to his current role as the special education behavior room teacher at EEMS, Clyde has consistently gone above and beyond. When the opportunity came to restructure our K-4 behavior program, he stepped up without hesitation, bringing thoughtful collaboration, positivity, and an unwavering focus on students' needs. He shows up literally and figuratively. His attendance and punctuality are impeccable. You can count on Clyde to be in the building early, ready to support students, staff, and sometimes anyone who happens to walk by. He meets learners where they are and tailors his instruction to their academic and functional needs, always backed by strong data and thoughtful planning. This past summer, while many enjoying well-deserved downtime, Clyde was attending professional development, learning new strategies, and you guessed it, asking us what more he could do to help. His drive to grow as a professional and improve outcomes for students is genuine and constant. We are incredibly fortunate to have Clyde.
Just kidding.
We are incredibly fortunate to have Clyde as part of our special education team. His commitment, kindness, and humor makes a lasting impact on everyone around him. High five, Clyde. You make a difference every day.
I feel like it was fitting that it talked about humor right after that.
Yeah, right.
That-
And then last this evening, Michelle Mahon. Michelle drove my child to school in the morning because of her abbreviated daily schedule. Without a driver, we would have had to choose between me having a job that helped pay my child's medical bills or her being able to access her education. Michelle was so much more than a driver. Every morning from the time my child gets up, she is in pain and experiences nausea. By the time she's leaving for school, she had to wade through misery physically for hours. As you can understand, this doesn't always allow for a happy morning. Every day that Michelle picked her up for school, Michelle took the drive time to mentally help my child transition, to bring her and get her ready for learning for the day. I even overheard my child telling friends about her daily conversations with Michelle and how she looked forward to them. Through Michelle's care and consideration, she turned the tide of daily anxiety. My daughter was able to better tune into her studies after arriving at school. I saw her try harder every day to rally enough strength physically to get through the door because she knew Michelle was waiting for her. When a child has been as sick as mine has, for as long as she has, every hour in school makes a big difference. Michelle was so much more than a driver to us. She was a vital member of her educational team that made education and mental health possible for my child. I do not have words big enough to express my gratitude. Michelle's impact on our family is priceless. Thank you, Michelle. So fun. I know, all emotional.
Just start bringing tissues.
So,
I haven't cried in a while.
I know, right?
Our next,
glad it wasn't just
our
me.
next recognition, I will call up Mr. Frost.
Thank you, Mrs. Wright. Just a quick update before I do this with the lights. So they started today. Little snafu, they're not sure how deep the poles actually are in the ground. So they're bringing a crane on the track tomorrow to safely lower the poles, because when they started cutting them or getting whatever, the poles were shaking so bad that they were worried about safety. So
Okay.
fingers crossed it's not setting us back.
Happy birthday, Amy.
So hopefully the target goal is the 18th, which we had a home game today, and tomorrow we're playing the varsities at 4. JVs are playing right now until we can't see them anymore on the field, and then we're going to get them off the field. We're doing that tomorrow for the girls, and then the 18th, next Thursday, is our next home game for the boys. So the target is the 18th, so we'll see about that.
Thanks, Mr. Frost.
So, but with that being said, last spring, our girls tennis team had a great season. They lost in the quarterfinals up to Caribou, 3-2. It was a very close match. But our girls tennis coach was named PVC Girls Tennis Class B Coach of the Year. And it's not this Amy Bowles, it's not Amy C. Bowles, it's Amy D. Bowles. So I'd like to have Amy come. I told her she didn't have to say anything, just show up and smile, so that's what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna go check on the JV boys game.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, Amy Bowles.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you.
Have a good night.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you.
All right.
So next is special presentation.
Thank you. Have a good night.
So one of the things that we wanted to present to the board is our continued work in the area of attendance and talk to you a little bit about our endeavors and our work as a district. Attendance has been one of our CNA goals as part of our title grants for funding for ESEA, and it is something that we have worked really hard on. You guys coming up with her? Yeah. Has worked really hard on as a district. So I've asked leadership team to put together a presentation tonight to talk to you about this work.
Hi.
Hi.
Good evening.
Yeah. Good. Welcome.
So our presentation starts with attendance counts, and so do you. You make the difference. And that's not just the students, and it's not just the teachers, and it's not just the parents, the community. It's everybody's work all together that really makes the difference. So the work started about 1.5 years ago at the high school. I was scrolling on through my stuff and found Count Me In and checked that website out, and met Jessica Anderson, and as you know, we contracted with them and have been working with them ever since. Started just at the high school, has expanded to the entire district, which is fantastic. So what I'm going to start with is, this is the overview of what we'll talk about tonight, a little bit about our data summary from last year, the work that we accomplished, our district and school goal currently at the high school, some of the attendance strategies that we're employing this year. We have an attendance team now, the work they're going to do. EEMS, Ms. Corson will report out on the work they're doing, and Mr. Tracy will report out on the work HCTC is doing now that the whole district is involved. And then I have a couple challenges for what can parents do and what can the community do, because it's for everybody, not just the high school and the students and the people immediately. So this is our end of year attendance data summary, and I'm just going to highlight some pieces of it. So we started out at 50% chronic absenteeism at the high school. That's where we were 1.5 years ago, which is not great, but we are not alone in that. Let me say that, all over the state. That was the after effects of COVID, the C word we don't like to mention, but it had huge impact. What happened during that time, the hybrid models following, so everyone is experiencing similar stuff. So if you look at the pie chart, 23, 24, those were our rates. The red is severely chronic. The orange is chronic, the gold is approaching, and then the green is everybody okay. So you see there's a big difference between, in the pie chart, between 23, 24 and 24, 25. So some of the specifics are that while the percentage of students with good attendance didn't necessarily shift hugely between those two, there were significantly fewer students, 41, who missed 20% or more of their enrolled days. So 41 students moved from being chronically. Excuse me, 164 students, which is a lot overall, enrolled both years, improved their attendance last school year. And it can sound like not big numbers, but when you consider the whole grade level is only about 125 on average, then moving 40 students, moving 60 students, that's a lot. That's a lot within our school system. So on the next one, the things I want to point out are down near the bottom, and you have the comparisons between 23 and 24 and the changes. Our chronic absence rate on here was 8% lowered, which is a huge amount to move that dial. It actually, when we reported to, at the end of the year to the state, it actually had shifted down a bit to 5%, but you have senior skip day, and all those things that happen at the end of the year. They kind of affected it, so hopefully we'll make a little change in the way we do those next year. The average absence rate went down by 4, which was great, and the number of students who improved were 41. So we are happy with that. So this one shows you the chronic absent rate by grade each year from 22, 23, 23, 24, 24, 25. So what is fascinating is that the group that improved the most last year were the seniors. And there's some reasons why that might have happened, not just because they have to graduate, because they've had to every time, right? But also because we did some correction within our data, how we were labeling things, how many minutes we're getting. There's a lot of work within the data that was happening incorrectly. So we've done a great deal to correct that. I thank Jen Berry and Katie Hollenbach for that, because they meet with me every time I call. And we've done more work this summer again. Here's an example. So a kid is on internship. That was counting as absent excused. That should count as present. That's their assigned school, right? So we did a lot of correcting of things like that, that will help us in the future. Ninth graders, shockingly, their attendance was the worst over the year. They got worse over the year. And we don't know why that happened. So we are looking closely at Freshman Academy, making sure those kids understand and are educated about attendance, what's excused, what's not excused, all those things. So on the next one, the next one shows the ninth graders wound up with a chronic absence rate of 44%. So we have to focus on them. We also need to focus on what is called highly mobile students. Those are transient students. Those are students who are with us for less than the full year. Maybe they come, maybe they go, maybe they come in late, whatever, or they start and they leave. So there were 63 of those highly mobile students last year. 40 of them were chronically absent. 40 out of 63, which is 63%. So that is something we are looking closely at those kids. Are they not feeling welcomed? Are they coming in and they're feeling lost? So one,
But it also kind of almost makes sense.
Yes,
Because
and
they
we-
may be not in stable places.
yes, so, and that's a good part of it. So we made a shift this year. One thing we did at the very beginning of the year was that every transfer student in over the summer that was an upperclassman, so not just the freshmen on freshman day, we invited all those other students. There were almost 30 of them.
Wow.
Those students had a half-day meeting with other upperclassmen, going through all of their information, getting goodie bags, going on the tours, meeting some people so that when they started, they felt better about that, we hope. And I think we're seeing that that was an improved thing to do. And they all showed up, and we didn't know they would. So that was good, thanks. We're also looking at, with all of these groups, Rachel's Challenge is going to begin their peer mentoring program. They spent all last year working on a peer mentoring program for kids who are struggling, freshmen especially, kids who are referred to us, and they will be beginning that this year. And even if they act as nothing more than an attendance mentor, I missed you, where were you? I'm so glad to see you back. Great. Then if that encourages somebody to be there, makes them feel a connection, that's a great thing. I'm looking. I'm trying to go fast. Really, I am. Okay. It's tough for
Well,
me.
Can I
Okay.
ask one quick question?
Oh, yes.
So what is the definition of chronic absenteeism?
Oh, thank you, because I should have started with that. Chronic absenteeism is every absence. It does not matter if it is excused or not. It's every absence counted, and that is by state and federal law. Truancy has a different definition. Truancy is 10 unexcused absences, and you've completed 6th grade, I believe. So there's a difference. So I'm so glad you asked that question. However, because our truancy went down from 148 last year, truancy, to 98, which is a huge drop.
Yeah.
So see that attendance thing is working all over the place. So, so our target for next year, if we wanted to move our chronic absenteeism from 44, which is where we ended up last year, down to 35%, We need 39 students to move from chronically to approaching chronically. And that's really not that many students. That is not that many. If we wanted to go to 30%, which I think would be even better, we only move 66 students. Again, it's not, we can do that. We moved 40-something last year, so we can do that. So we're remaining focused on Tier 1. This was the recommendation, remain focused on Tier 1 support, streamlining Tier 2. If 10 students from each grade level, just one a month, 10, once, okay, shifted from chronically absent to at risk, then your chronic absentee rate would be below 35%. If each staff member supports one student, could you move the needle even more? So I think it's great data because it's moving us in the direction we want to be in. So this year, the district CNA goal to reduce chronic absenteeism is 5% for the whole district. So we accomplished that last year. So our goal at the high school is 10% because we did many things last year. We did attendance challenges. We did monthly data dive into the monthly reporting on every single student. I have all their information. We look at the percentages. We did a lot of calling over the summer, again, to students who had been absent. And so I think we can meet that 10%. So these are some of the strategies that we are implementing this year, actually. Welcoming students. We always welcome students, but we've put a big push on, like I said, welcoming the transfer students in. Being out in the hallway, sending things we've asked teachers to do in how they start and the protocols that they're using. If a student is absent 3 days unexcused, we're calling immediately. It's been years since we did that at the high school level. So there's a lot of protocols that we changed. I'm not going to bore you with all of those. We're sending positive postcards. So everybody all year long will be receiving positive postcards in the mail at home with positive things about their students, which we think will also help forge relationships, because a lot of this is about relationship too, right? And improving those and getting people back into the school.
Quick question about this,
Yep.
Rebecca. Is that all students or is that just specific to students who are at risk?
All
or are-
students.
That's amazing. I
All
love that.
students are going to get at least
That's
one
amazing.
postcard. Let me know if you don't get
I
one.
love that.
Okay. Family surveys, we're doing things to survey the family. How can we support your students? What can we do better to help you? Teach and modeling the importance of attendance. All of us, all staff, all the kids, all the coaches, you name it. We all need to model it. This is what we do. This is your work at the moment, right, as a student, to be here and to do your academics. Amy Van Dorn is part of my attendance team, and she's doing a monthly newsletter she'll be sending out with attendance information. And we're doing weekly attendance blasts. The first one went out last week. Tyler put it out, this big maroon thing with some attendance statistics on it. We have a goal to do 2 parent information nights that will be all of us combined doing that one. Recognition, last year we did perfect attendance, and this year we're extending that to improved attendance. We're also going to recognize not just the perfect, those who are improving. Alternative pathway diploma, which you all approved, we think that's going to make a difference for some kids who would have felt overwhelmed that I can't go to school 6 years or 5 years. That's going to help them. They all have their student IDs. Oh, they just left. They have their student IDs. Student IDs, thank you, Jen Berry. Every student's picture has been taken and is now on an ID card that they can use to get into any activities at the high school free, other than a fundraiser or an MPA. It has their picture, it has their barcode. They can use it at lunch and in the library as well. It's got a little hole, they can put it on lanyard, they can stick it somewhere. So we think that is all, and it's to encourage people to come to school and be involved in extracurricular as well. Our wraparound services are extending yet again. We have Bangor Regional Health Center, Bucksport Regional Health Center, I always say that wrong. And they have a therapist this year. We didn't have one all of last year. We also have added, so we have a case manager with Acadia and a counselor there, our own people in the building, and then we have added Healthy Acadia, and Healthy Youth Mentoring Services to help students with substance abuse and vaping and those types of things. I told you about the Rachel's Challenge mentors, and finally, we're just tightening up all of our protocols and trying to dig in even more. And all the students got lectured on attendance and challenged, and we're going to do some grade level challenges and all the things. So next, oh, those are some postcards. They're already designed. We're just waiting for grant money to order them. And then, so there's an attendance team now as well formed, and I'm really thrilled about how many people wanted to join that and be on that team. And they are looking at data reports with me, and a lot of different data reports. We found out there's 13 different ones you can generate in Infinite Campus we didn't know about. The student surveys to kids that are in that 10% to 20% last year, those are the ones, that's where the 66 we're going to move will come from. The ones that were in the in-between spot. We're going to be meeting with students that need it, that start approaching the bad number. We're going to create attendance plans with them. We're going to reach out to their families. What can you do to support? What can we do to support you? And then coordinating those wraparound services. And that's all of them right there. And now I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Corson to talk and take a break.
Your turn.
Thanks. So I started this work with EHS. I was on their first team. So when I was completing my master's degree, I delved into some data, and hopefully it goes. Nope. Can I not click on this, Rebecca? Oh, there it goes. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. So what we figured out is these are all the students. Their personal, their PII is protected because I did complete my FERPA training. So, but this is the percentage that they were absent. So we had someone who was absent almost 70% of the time. And I had Mr. Bates graph it. And then I had him explain the graph to me. So basically, for every 2 days a student was absent, and this was the year 23-24, for every 2 days a student was absent, their grade dropped a half a point. Wow. Out of 0 to 100. So I think that's important for people to know that it really does. I mean, excused or unexcused, you're not there to learn. And your grade tends to drop a little bit. So I thought that was important. And now I'll go back to the attendance. So our goal this year is to decrease chronic absenteeism by 5%. And we're just starting this. We finally got hooked up with Jess Anderson. And step one is to make sure our attendance data was accurate. Like Rebecca was saying, if a student gets marked tardy, we have to go back in and say how many minutes they were present. It automatically defaults to 0 minutes present. So they could be 5 minutes late for class, and it automatically defaults to they weren't in class at all. So we're trying to go back and tighten that up, and communicate more and have more protocols and systems in place to take accurate attendance, and try to hold everybody accountable for that. Step two is, like Rebecca said, making connections with students. We're trying, when they are absent and they come back to school, instead of where have you been, we're trying to say, hey, it's great to see you. We're standing up by the front door, trying to see how many kids say good morning back to us. Trying to make those connections. For every, if a student is absent so many times, the teachers are reaching out to home, whether it's a quick phone call or a quick reach my teach to say, hey, we miss you, where have you been, and just make it more positive, to try to get the kids to come to school. Jess Anderson was wonderful with handouts. She gave me, she has a website, and there are wonderful handouts. So just trying to, educate the parents on, some things, like I said tonight, your GPA does drop with every 2 days. But there's also some handouts on how to make your morning routine better. To try to get the kids. Yes, you can have one of those. I can email you later. The morning routine. My kid's gone and it's still a mess. I get it. And I'm trying to track it weekly. I just got the email from Jessica Anderson, I think we got it yesterday, other APs, that says, day 10's approaching, time to look at those kids and who haven't been to school, and chances are they transferred, and you need to track them down. And so she does keep us
She's
on
on
track.
it, yeah.
She does keep us on track, and I look forward to having the data next year that, all these data points that Rebecca has. I'm looking forward to having that, and then trying to remove some barriers.
So we took a little bit of a different approach last year. Part of what we started with our IT department was making sure we cleaned up some of our codes, right? Because we have students out on internships quite a bit, and so part of that is making sure that code aligns so the student's getting credit for being in school. So some of that work, we worked with the IT department to make sure that was clean. Same thing, we really try to work with our sending schools. We want students to feel like they're a part of HCTC, but also a part of their sending school, and so we try to balance that. And if there's an event going on at their sending school that's an event that they want to attend, we excuse them. But again, it's not absent. They're still present for being in school somewhere. So that's some of the stuff we cleaned up from the beginning. But as we did that, we looked at how we could track attendance. And I just want to say a huge thank you to Liz Connors first. Liz puts this spreadsheet together for me. We talked about some parameters and things that I wanted to see that I could share with staff, but I put it in our weekly every single week. I release my weekly on Sundays, and I give the last 5 days of attendance. As we get to the end of a quarter, we look at it by quarter, we look at it by school, we look at it by a variety of ways. So all year long, we tracked it in this spreadsheet. So there's a lot here, but you could see easily over time that our freshman attendance, our first year attendance with our AM programs was higher. Our Fridays, we know, are always going to be a challenge because kids are coming to us for sometimes only a 45-minute span of time. But we tracked this over time. We had conversations with sending schools. We had looked at it by program, looked at it by quarter, looked at it every possible way we could. But the average daily attendance is how many students we have in attendance each day. So our goal this year is to flip that a little bit and really jump back to by student and really work with Jess Anderson to see, so as we're looking at a student and seeing how many days they're absent and really tracking that chronic absenteeism. Again, that's 2 days a month, and you get to just barely on that chronic absenteeism. So I feel like that's manageable. We've talked a lot with our staff. I've talked a lot with the staff at the beginning of the year to really push the message of attendance. We use a variety of different tools to make sure that we're talking about it in ways that make sense. So this year moving in, that attendance emphasis from day one, using our employability rubric is huge. We talk a lot about the relatability from a workforce setting to a school setting and being present. I know when I do my recruiting with our students, our potential students, I talk about attendance, academics, and behavior. And I always ask them, what do you think is the most important one? And I'm getting resoundingly back over and over again now, attendance. Because I can take a student that maybe hasn't had the best success academically or the best success behaviorally, and our staff can work with them to improve that. Now, if they just don't show up, that's where we have the biggest struggle. So we talk to them a lot about that. So attendance is an emphasis to start the year. We'll still do the ADA track and put that in the weekly all year long, but then we'll also work with Jess Anderson. A little bit of a funky balance at HCTC because our teachers don't share students, so our review team is basically the instructor, the counselor, and myself. So if we have a student that's really getting to a point where they're struggling, maybe missing 2 or 3 days in a row, Liz is giving me that attendance now, and I can make contact, and staff are making calls, but essentially that's our team. We have a student we're working with, we're going to work together on that student individually. So we look to do that with our chronic absenteeism. And then overall, I just think our focus with HCTC, we talk about environment, engagement, and employability, right? So one of the things we want to make sure is we create a welcoming environment for those students so that they know what the expectations are, but also that they're there to learn and work and be engaged in what they're doing. We look for building positive relationships. You've heard that mentioned multiple times, where they're saying hello at the door in the morning, our staff are in the hallways, we're welcoming our kids in. We're very fortunate that we have our students in the morning for a session and then the afternoon for a session. We communicate early and often, and then the whole focus we have around being rigorous, relevant, and real, trying to apply what they're doing now as to what their life could be down the road. So we really try to make that as a focus so that they see the relevance there. But I'm excited to work with Jess this year. We had a little bit of back and forth with Jess at the end of last year and pulled some preliminary numbers, but I really want to dive into that this year now that we have her across the district so we can really track and work with students one-on-one.
Should have told Jess to watch this because she's getting lots of PR here tonight, which is great. Oh, it won't go. There we go. So what can parents do? Help your child attend school every day unless they are truly sick. Get them to come to school. Call the school if your child is absent and share the reason, because we have different codes: absent excused sick, absent unexcused if we hear nothing within 3 days. So it does make a difference overall, especially on tardiness. Schedule appointments outside of school hours whenever possible. We all know sometimes that's not possible, but as much as you can do it, it helps so they're not coming and going and continually missing like one class at the same time. Create routines, even if they're in high school, even if they're young adults. Set consistent bedtimes and morning schedules and turn off that technology would be my big suggestion. Plan wisely, avoid vacations during the school year. Technically, you could have 18 absences and still not be chronically absent. When you think about that, if you work that around professional development days or holidays, that's almost a month of time. Okay, so if vacation falls into that, okay, but be looking at the rest of it. And this is what I talk to the kids about. You know you're going to cheering in Florida for a week and you have a vacation planned, terrific, but then those days you don't feel like getting out of bed, get out of bed, right? Don't use up the days you have left when you have strep throat. So that's kind of how I tried to put it in perspective for them. Build a support network, parents, so you have backup plans. If something falls through, if they are late, have them have a way to get to school. So kind of collaborate with friends and neighbors. Ask for help. If your child is avoiding school, connect with us. We are here to help. We have, as I said, so many wraparound services, so many ways that we can help your students. So those are things that parents could think about doing. And then, what can the community do? Offer internship opportunities to our students, make them feel valued, get them out in the community. Attend school board meetings so they know what's going on in the school and you can talk to your kids about that. Well, I heard you have a dance this weekend. Are you going to go to your dance? Whatever it might be. Donate to provide incentives to students for good and improved attendance. I have funds, we buy cards, gift cards, but it would be lovely if people donated some things to give those kids. Refrain scheduling student workers throughout the school day, which does happen on occasion. Refrain from scheduling driving hours during the school day, because those are not excused absences, and that's happening more and more often. And finally, businesses provide mentorship opportunities at local businesses and community agencies, and some of those students might wind up working for you someday because they're making those connections. And again, relationship. We heard everything in the strategic planning. People want to be involved again with the school, and they want to be involved in what's going on and with the students and with the decision making. So I would say that would be another great way to do it. The end. Do you have any questions?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment, and I do agree with the, like, making the students feel welcome. Like, I think it was last year, if not the year before, when I went to the school board convention. Like, that was one thing that they said. It's one thing to have a student come in and be like, where have you been? Even though they had a flat tire. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you don't give them the business. Right. Like, they are at least showing up, even though they're late. Act a little concerned, and then, so, I mean, I think that our office staff needs to, really, like, take note of that sometimes, even though I know they get the brunt of all of the phone calls, the nagging, the where are you, all of that. But I think, like, just making someone feel valued for walking through the door.
Yeah, and we had a
It's
lot
important.
of kids. We have had a number of students, again, the work of the whole team, that came to school maybe twice last year, various reasons, and are back in the building and are doing it this year and are happy to be back in the building. And students that have transitioned back from, like, our First Academy program, which the hope is always that they will transition back eventually. And they are doing that, and we're making lots of strides that way, of people being comfortable coming back in. And nobody should have to act like they're glad to see somebody. They just should be glad that you are here today.
But they also should want to be there. I mean, like, there's, I don't know where the shift fell from, me being 52 and, and going to school, all the years that, like, that was your job. Like, you went, whether you really wanted to or not, it wasn't really an option. When did it become an option? that you went to school, you just did.
That
Like,
would be
that's
another
what you
half
did.
hour, so I won't
But
comment.
that's just what it is. But I think as
But I have
parents-
theories.
But I feel as parents, like, that's where we have
Yeah.
failed. I mean,
Oh,
we all
well,
kind of fall into that, like, I don't
There's
feel
all,
like it
there's all
today.
kinds of reasons.
Yeah,
There's all
so-
kinds of reasons for it to happen, so. Thank you.
Well, thank you. It was
Thank
good.
you. Thank you all.
The one thing that I would say I'm really proud of is this is a really good example of the team really starting to try to use data to really thread the needle and make improvements to the school. And now having a system in place throughout the system feels really good. So I'm really proud of everybody for that.
All right, next up is acknowledgement of Personnel Committee's action on behalf of the board. And the action was approving a hire, right?
Yes.
During the summer
We
when.
were very fortunate in August that
Mhm.
we found a cybersecurity instructor for Hancock County Technical Center. And so tonight would like to have you approve the Personnel Committee's action on behalf of the board in August.
I will make a motion to acknowledge the Personnel Committee's action on behalf of the board and confirming the superintendent's nomination of Marcus Ford as computer science cybersecurity teacher for the 25-26 school year.
Second.
Discussion?
I have a very happy kid. He was getting real nervous.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of kids were. All those in favor? Great. That's exciting.
Yes.
Hiring.
So our, this was a adjustment to the agenda this evening. So we have been searching for a 21st Century Community Learning Center grant director, which is a required component of the grant. And we are excited, and she is here, to recommend Jillian Baker, who has been a science teacher at Ellsworth High School, to transfer into this role. We have worked and talked about what the transition plan will look like. She will stay in the science classroom while we search for her replacement. But really excited, she volunteered and worked in our summer program this summer for our STEM program at the middle school. And when I met with her, she had a lot of great ideas about community collaboration and grant management. So we're really excited because that grant, as you know, is super important for us, transforming after school and summer school at both of our schools. And we did not want to give that money and
Did
not
not.
be able to fill that
No.
position.
Did not.
So we're really excited to bring her aboard.
I'll make a motion to approve the superintendent's nomination of the transfer of Jillian Baker to the 21st Century Community Learning Center's grant director position for the remainder of the 25-26 school year as recommended by the Personnel Committee.
I'll second. Give that one to Jamie.
Okay.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor?
Congratulations.
Next is first read of policies.
So this policy, there was not much change. If you noticed in the language that we sent to you in red, we just added language around subcommittee attendance as well to the already existing policy. So that is the only change to that policy.
I'll make a motion to approve the first read of the updated policy BBBA, school board declared vacancy as presented and recommended by the policy committee.
I'll second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
The next list of policies, also from section B, are policies that have not been reviewed since 2017, 2018 approximately. These were reviewed and there are no recommended changes at this time.
I will make a motion to approve the review with no changes to the following policies as presented and recommended by the policy committee. BBA, school board powers and responsibilities. BBAA, school board authority and responsibilities. BBBA, board member qualifications. BDG, school attorney legal services. BEA, school board use of electronic mail. BEDB/BEDBR, agenda format. BEDG, minutes.
Second.
Do you want to say it again?
No.
Any discussion? All those in favor? All right. Next up, consideration of overnight field trips.
As part of your board packet, we did put forward the annual Hancock County Technical Center trips for your review for the 25-26 school year.
I will make a motion to approve the HCTC overnight field trips for the 25-26 school year as presented.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Okay. Oh, wow. We're at calendar and announcements. So the curriculum instruction and assessment meeting will be taking place Monday, September 15th at 4:15 PM at central office at 11 Avery Lane. Policy committee meeting Monday, September 29th at 4 PM at the same location. Our school board workshop for this month is Tuesday, September 23rd, right here at City Hall Council Chambers at 6 PM. Facilities and Transportation meeting will take place Monday, October 6th at 9 AM at Central Office. Finance meeting, Monday, October 6th, 11 AM at Central Office. School Board meeting, our next one is Tuesday, October 14th, right here in Council Chambers at 6 PM. And Personnel meeting is Friday, September 12th at 8 AM at 11 Avery Lane. And with that, we come to item K, adjournment.
Having no further business, I make a motion that we adjourn the board meeting.
Or abort.
Aboard it.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
7:16.